Thanks for staying with us. So Nigeria's National Orientation Agency, NOA, has cautioned Abuja car dealer Alamein Sarkin Mota for mocking civil servants regarding their struggle to purchase most of the vehicles he showcases in his promotional videos. The Director General of the agency, Lanre Issa Onilu, in a letter on Monday, stated that the body is dissatisfied with the recent advertisement released by Sarkin Mota in a video promoting a Mercedes Benz 2023 C300 equipped with artificial intelligence features, where he posed the questions: can civil servants afford you at a time when Nigerians are passing through so much social pressure and in an environment where get rich at all costs syndrome is pervasive and material things are being promoted over and above dignity of labor and decent values? It is wrong to be speaking in such condescending terms about Nigerian civil servants. What are your thoughts on this? So apparently he had asked the AI in the car, can Nigerian civil servants afford you?
Simple,
and the
honest
AI,
question.
sharp mouth, say no. No, till 2067, 20, maybe in 2062. Okay, so I want to talk about this, right? Based off the letter that was written to chastise him for this comment. You can join the conversation and call us on 020-1635-2013 or 09024163440. Tweet us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. So I was now wondering, the letter was, directed at the car dealer. Which one would be directed at the AI? But I would like to hear your thoughts on it, because it was actually the AI that answered the question that the auto dealer asked. So we should have had like 2 letters. But let's hear the ladies.
In fact, when he started this, he's Sarkin Mota. Sarkin Mota means king of cars. So in fact, I find him very interesting. Okay. In fact, when he started, every time I go to his, sometimes when I'm a bit, low or something, I just go there and watch his videos. They are so interesting. Wow. He's just a business person trying to sell his cars, and he just decided to use that strategy. And that civil servant, this thing that he uses is what led a lot of people to come down to his page to come out. With that, he now has the Instagram tick, everything. He's even known now at Daura. Even the Emir of Daura has recognized him.
Have you seen this man personally?
He sells so much.
No, she
I love the way he sells his cars. Because of him, now I know the difference. Like the cars.
The models.
I know all the models. I know everything. I know the technology. That's what the technology, the cars, the sunroof, everything. Now I know everything about cars because of him. Because he will explain the reason why you should get this instead of this, and all. And because of that, he has even been helping other businesses too. With his publicity and everything, has been helping other businesses. So I don't know why the federal government, look, if the federal government is trying to protect the civil servant, to a large extent, it's not a lie that they cannot afford the car. Most of them can't afford. You can't tell somebody at level 6, 7, 8 to come and buy such a car. Yes, buy his cars. Or at the same time, you can't even say that, elder business people may be the ones that will be able to afford the cars. So I really enjoy his advert and everything. I really, really enjoy it. So, but federal government should just take their eyes off him and let him be. You can't start fighting for this. Look, on Instagram, you can't protect an adult. You can't tell an adult what to watch and what not to watch. We all know that most of the things on social media, sometimes they are not real. It's not real. So it depends on you. You decide whether it's okay for you or it's not okay. There are times that I'll be on social media, I'll be scrolling through social media, and I'll see something that is not what I want to see and what I want to watch, and I move on. So federal government should leave him alone, let him sell his cars. He's making serious, he's making money, and he's helping other car dealers sell their cars because they bring their cars to him. And he helps sell, and it will improve the economy.
Okay. That's my opinion. Honestly, why
are you laughing?
Reading it, and I'm a bit confused. Because this is a man that I've never heard of, and I don't know, apart from you, so there are 4 of us, and just 1 out of 3, and from what you have just explained, is a man who does skits. Right?
Content creator.
And because he used the word civil servant, so he is not selling. So I understand when federal government can step in to make sure that our messaging is right. We have even said it. We have said many times that we want social media to be sort of regulated, so that the sort of messages we're putting out there, you know, it's at least decent, because everybody consumes it. We're thinking of our children. We're thinking of the mindset of a regular Nigerian. So I understand that we would want to, and you know, to even see the National Orientation Agency, to be honest, it's been a while ahead from them. So to see them, you know, involved, you know, wanting, sending a message to remind us to be mindful of sort of messaging we put out there, especially when it has to do with materialism, and a time where people seem to always want to struggle for things that they cannot afford. I get the messaging. I just don't understand why is this particular one that they used for that messaging, because I have seen people spray money at different places, carrying trunks of money, taking places, and I did not see NOA conversation there. Because we have had those conversations where we say then we see young people are trying to emulate it, and we said there's some lifestyles that we showcase, not because we don't have the money or we don't own the money, but we're trying to teach our young ones, you know, how to be decent. This man is selling cars.
He's doing a business.
He's doing an honest business, right?
Yes, honest business.
Good. And he said civil servants cannot afford this car. By God's grace.
He didn't say
he did
AI.
But it's the truth, isn't it?
It is.
We cannot, civil servants cannot, because of what they earn. But I don't think this same, and I know the idea is to mock, but it's also funny, you know, it's a skit, it's funny. Civil servants, I'm sure many civil servants don't even know him, because that he even sells cars. They're not even looking at him. They are in the market. They have been screaming and shouting for the prices of food and, you know, things like that. That is why I want to hear NOA. I get the message of teacher, you know, please be decent in how you go around. But I don't know why this particular guy's messaging is a problem, because the truth is many civil servants have been complaining. Is it car you think civil servants are complaining about?
No, of course not.
They're talking of rents, their children's school fees. There's so many things that, this one is just doing his marketing on his kits and his funny whatever on one side.
You sell one of
I mean, if he, I don't know.
The way you're even saying it, you're looking like you're asking, what's going on here?
Is there something else
that we don't know
missed
about? Yeah, let me hear Dami.
Maybe if we start from NOA, from what's defining what NOA is or who NOA is, as National Orientation Agency. National Orientation Agency. With all due respect to the DG of NOA, Malam Larissa Onelu, it might appear that maybe I'm frying or I'm roasting. I woke up since 3 a.m. because of this NOA matter. And I've read through all of their socials. I've read through their website. And I have seen that, okay, I also saw one interview that the DG granted last year on one of the big platform TVs. And I will particularly say that, sir, I'm putting it to you, that was not one of the brightest interviews I've ever seen from any DG holding any public office. Because even from the questions that you were being asked, you were constantly deviating the answers. What is NOA doing? I remember that when we were growing up, they used go for gold to choke us. That was the job of NOA. Now we are grappling and we are dealing with drug abuse. We're not seeing NOA. I went to your social media page because you mentioned that, oh yes, you people have an app now that you mentioned that NOA launched an app mentioning that that is supposed to be a social contract between the government and the country and its citizens, for you to know that I Farabale wrote it very well. And you said that this you also have a program called The Explainer, an innovative platform designed by the NOA to simplify and clarify government policies and national development for the public. It aims to bridge the gap between government operations and citizens, understanding, ensuring transparency, and fostering a well-informed populace. Sir, this letter is not part of NOA's work. You could accept the criticism. It's constructive. Yes, and it was not even direct. It's AI that spoke, not the guy. So it shows us that you people put your ears on ground, you people listen, you people know what to do, but you choose not to what you are supposed to do. You will pretend as though NOA operates from the wing, from the free air. And now another thing I noticed was that from NOA, maybe they don't even know what they are doing there. Because National Orientation Agency, when I saw the interview from the DG, he was saying that they have 812 locations across the 744 local governments in the country. How are you servicing 812 locations, sir? Which money? compress it, collapse it. Why do you have 700? Why do
you
you have
feeling the
712 locations?
Yeah, but we're not feeling the impact.
That's where I'm driving to. There's no impact of
like
this 812 locations that you have scattered all over the country. So, and another thing he said in the interview was that they are trying to work on with the Gen Zs. So I saw that, yes, their social media page on Instagram, on Twitter, on X is quite active. And I even saw somewhere on TVC this morning, there's this story that they are bringing up. It's from NOA, my Nigerian story. Nigeria has happened to me. Yes, I agree that that's a laudable one, to also project people that Nigeria has happened to in the good light. But your letter should have redirected to understand and accept the fact that, okay, AI was not lying between you and I and God, that the AI was not lying. Civil servants can only afford such cars, the ones that are armed robbers among them.
But the reason why the AI...
So even if, that means if we find civil servants with those cars,
what they are trying to say is that the Sarkin Mota is the one that has asked the AI to say that.
To tell
Nigerians to say that.
But we have just established on this table that is there a lie.
And are you imputing
nothing like that.
How it works.
That's not how it works.
Except I don't know. I don't know that car. I don't know that Mercedes. I don't know how it works.
You just ask questions. They go to the cloud and use data.
There is
data to give you
funny enough, should I now tell you that from this data that we still collected, though, I saw that there are two different what's it called? There are two different what's that? Their salaries. I went to check salaries of civil servants. If it's even true, that can they afford it? And I saw that the annual salaries from the Consolidated Research and Allied Institution Salary Restructure, CONRIAS, that's from July last year, had affected the increment that's
how much?
Nobody on that list is collecting 1 million.
Then you are going too far.
That's what I'm saying. There are different levels.
Minimum wage. You are going too far. See minimum wage, 70,000.
That's where we are coming from.
I think from 70,000, will you be able to afford those cars?
That's where I'm coming from. Now that on that sheet, on that spreadsheet, nobody earns 1 million naira annually.
Let me tell you what I'm even learning from this.
Let me hear.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would like that the police can even use this for
the whistleblowing that they sent us to go and do.
If I see you with this car, just stop this car and say, did this man use honest money to buy you? Where did he get the money to buy me on this car? Did he buy this car?
The first question is, are you a civil servant, first of all, before...
you ladies?
So in his words, he said, values are very important. We must define who we are, and that is what they have done in NOA, and that their app is to help communicate government policies to Nigeria, as well as strengthening our feedback mechanism. Part of this is feedback.
Yes,
but you are taking it in the wrong channel.
Yeah, but wait, AI is not working for them. AI will go to the clouds.
Anybody can bring you feedback.
Yes, and
according to what is happening and get facts. But now this is also based on facts. AI does not live with us. AI
does not care about you.
AI talks about facts and figures. So I feel that letter wasn't necessary. In that, what happened? Didn't know
so let's
because they don't want me to talk.
We'll take a short break now. Yes. So when we come back, we'll still look at it from probably another angle. Let's see if he has a point in the letter that he has sent. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. Yes. So I had my own thoughts when I saw this, and what I realized is that many of our content creators all over the world create content based off the reality on ground. When we started watching Nollywood, we would hear stepfather, stepmother story, wicked stepmother, and all of that. The people that are doing juju, the people that, those are the stories that we saw, and those stories were not from the sky. They were not just cooked up. They were stories based on the realities on ground. If you're a filmmaker, for instance, you want to tell a story, you will tell a story that you've either seen, you've experienced, something that's related to you. Even the fiction, the so-called fiction that people give to us, there's a peek into that existence for them to come, because after many years, you now see what they have shown in their movies coming to reality, right? So that is on one hand. The second part of it is the fact that the feedback, it was more like feedback. And if there was supposed to be a comment, it should be, first of all, appreciating the feedback to say, we know that our civil servants cannot afford these cars yet. But this and this and this is what the government is doing to take the civil servants to that point where in a few years, no. See, in Dubai, for instance, have you seen the cars they use for their taxis? Now this is 33 something.
The G-Wagons.
The G-Wagons are the taxis. The common man in Dubai does not see that car as anything because it's accessible. And government have made it in such a way that you necessarily don't have to start the business with your own money. You go into the banks, you get a loan for the business, or the government gives you the car, you get money and you pay back gradually. And so those cars are not big. You see the cars that you passes on our streets here, we're like, wow, hey, who drive this one? Dubai is taxi, regular taxi. It's not like you're going to a special place to go and order it. It's regular taxi. So we have the capacity to also get to that point where these things don't become a big deal if the government steps in to help the common man deliberately. Intentionality. So if you had to respond, you should respond with facts and figures of this is where we are coming from. A time will come. Oh, AI said 2062. Before 2062, Nigerians will get to a point, yes, where even our civil servants will be able to buy this. But aside from that, let's pack it. Let's talk about social responsibilities. Also one of the things that I highlighted, which is how do we begin to be responsible for the sensitivities of other people, even while we're doing our marketing and are doing our sales, right? I know that you can create content to what's happening, but it's also important that you also pay attention to the people that are around you who are not at par, so to speak. Do you cut them out entirely without mentioning them and focus on the market? Of course, everybody has their markets. Let me give you an instance. So someone got my products recently, and she came back to say, she loves the product too, but they are expensive. I said they are supposed to be expensive because the natural materials we thought we had in Nigeria, when it was time to produce, I realized that Igbo people have bought out all the farms. They bought out all even PKO, our palm oil is imported. When you're using for skincare is imported. So I say everything I'm using for the product are imported. So it will be expensive. And I was not apologetic about it because I've spent money. I need to make at least a little profit for it. But some other people would have said, that means you have cut off poor people from buying your product. There's nothing I can do in that regard, right? If I wanted to be mixing soap in my backyard, that's a different thing. I'm not mixing soap in my backyard. I'm going through processes the way I want it for the class of people I want. Now, somebody may look at me and feel you have cut off a certain demography or demographic of people from buying your products. Am I supposed to? I don't know. Can somebody help me? I'm trying to go somewhere.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, help
me. Okay, so I'm going to come from a business point of view. Okay. Right? Let me take
Dr. Nelson from Dubai, then I come to you. Nancy. Good morning, Dr. Nancy. Oh, I mentioned Dubai, that's true.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Yes. I just want to commend, everyone there for their view on this issue, especially the lady who had done the research about the NOA. First and foremost, Sarkin Mota is a businessman, and he brought up this issue of the civil servant as a business strategy. And to be frank and to be fair to him, there are some of his cars that he's advertised that he will specifically say they are for civil servants, which means that there are some cars that are affordable that the civil servants can actually buy. That's one. Okay. Then when you look at it from the whole, from a wider perspective, even the president said we should cut our coat according to our size. We're not supposed to be, as a civil servant, you can't afford those big cars. And even Sarkin Mota will tell you that hustle, try and make some business, do some other things. He's not saying go and steal, go and do yahoo or do something that is not allowed. Okay? Yes, it's just trying to tell you that if you are depending on your salary, you can't afford some luxury in life. It's trying to stimulate people to do some business, do some side hustle. That doesn't mean you can't be a civil servant. You can be a civil servant and you can earn more by doing some other things. Yes, so I completely agree with my sister that said this is actually out of the purview of NOA. NOA should even find a way of even commending him for coming out to try to say that civil servants can't afford. My sister, civil servants are parking their cars. They cannot even maintain their cars. Yeah. You understand? Not even talk about a car that's AI enabled. So what Sarkin Mota is doing, as far as I'm concerned, is nothing wrong. There are some cars that don't keep there on his stand and say this is specifically for civil servants. Come and buy it. You understand? So he's just a businessman. I just feel the NOA should get their whatever their tax. They should go and face it squarely and do what is right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Nancy. Yeah, you
okay, so I agree with and I'm going to add to what he just said. And also, Sarkin Mota he gave the civil servant, he told them that you can even come and buy the car and pay instrumentally. So he offered them instrumental payments as well. So I'm going to come from the business point of view, right? That guy is targeting a certain segment of the market.
Okay.
It's not for everybody. You understand? So he himself, he has said these are the kind of people that can afford his cars. So these are the people that can come and buy his cars. So all those other things that he adds to it are just things that will just attract people. Anyhow that you can sell your product, please, you should be allowed to express yourself and, you know, showcase it. I remember when there's this product, I don't want to call the name of the product.
Dancing naked now.
I won't call the name of the product. Most of them, that time, they started having names on their bottle of it's a popular thing. Say having names on their products.
And people
I looked for my name. I looked for my name, and my name was not there. Will you now come and say because my name is not there now?
They have
exactly they have removed me from because most of the names that they was a certain tribe. Most of a certain tribe where their names were more on there, and then the English names. We don't have all the other native names that were there.
I think they worked with very popular names.
Very
all tribes because I saw all names.
But a lot of people got their own drink and so this is just what I'm just saying is that it's a business strategy, it's a marketing strategy. Okay. All just to effect a sale. So at least let's give the guy.
So I have another caller, Joy from Kano. Then I come to Miriam.
Sarkin Mota is getting people from his constituency.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joy.
Good morning, beautiful ladies of your views.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well done. You all are really doing well. You are really making us proud. You are really representing we the women. We are proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Are you hearing me?
Yes. We can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
We've lost out.
Oh, Joy. Don't go now.
Joy is coming.
But seriously,
okay.
Seriously, what he said is not wrong. He's right. How many civil servants can afford that car?
We lost Joy. Miriam.
Yeah, so one of the things that made me a bit confused, at first when I saw it and I saw that it was a thing that NOA got involved, I thought it was a government person that had made that statement. Maybe someone who has been appointed by government or in government office and he did not, that was why I was confused. But I did not, when I understood that it was just a regular person selling his market wherever he is, they're selling. It's just almost like saying to people who are selling luxury homes in Banana Island, how dare you?
You just brought it from my chest.
How dare you sell those sort of things? Are you trying to make those that cannot afford it to feel bad? There's another guy that sells things, houses on social media, and he just luxury and things like that.
You will
love it. So here I am in my normal government work. Do you really think that I'm on You Will Love It page? Checking to see what's happening in Banana Island and things like that? Of course not. So what the Nigerian civil servant is looking at is not this. But I was also thinking, because on this table, many things have come up. When drug conversations have come up, our children misbehaving, all those sort of things have come up. And we have called out NOA because we remember while we were growing up, the agency was quite front-facing. Yeah. As you said, there's some songs, adverts that we run in our minds because of what they did. But they've been quiet for a very long time. And maybe this is just, they're now looking for a chance to come back. And then they testing the ground. And then they pick the story. That's on one end. Now, you said, let's look at it on another end. Now, the message about materialism, please, I'm taking it away from the NOA. I'm just discussing like generally.
Okay.
Yes, we need to. That is a messaging that is important today in Nigeria. We have a lot of young people who are seeing, especially on social media, people living these lavish lifestyles that cannot be, you know, traced back to any proper work that you're doing or any proper business. It just seems that people just pop out of nowhere and they have lots of money and they're spraying lots of money. And, you know, you see a lot of people who, when young people, they just say, I just want to be rich and famous. I want to be rich and famous. Doing what? We need to encourage young people to understand that there's dignity in labor. Yeah. Do something that impacts your community positively. Come up, build something that impacts your community positively. Build AI cars that can tell government the truth, you know, and those sort of things. Those are the ways that we should encourage them. And then when money comes, fame comes, you know, that money and fame should not be the first thing that you look for. And even if it is, just make sure that you're doing it in the right way. You're not involved in any illicit behavior or illegal behavior. That is the messaging I would like to see. But I don't think that this particular man's story is what NOA should use for that message. But I'm saying to NOA, you are right. That conversation you're trying to push is important, but we need to look for the scenarios that are more in tune with your message.
Yeah, we'll take a short break here. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Welcome back. We're still discussing this issue of AI telling us the future of civil servants in the country. And I would also like to make it known to people who are living in denial that the way the world is wired, all hands can never be equal. Even if Jesus Christ comes back to sit with us, even on the table where he decides to pick the 12, there will be a 3 and there will be 1. That's how the world is wired, right? So for people who are sitting down waiting for a time where everybody will be equal, it won't happen. That's 1. 2, how we can now reduce the gap between the poor and the rich is where the government has to heavily step in. Because if you travel abroad, you don't see the difference on the streets. Here, on the streets, you see the difference. You can tell this is a poor person and this is somebody that has money, right? But on the streets in many of those countries, whether it's UK or US or Canada and all of that, you don't see it on your face because everybody has a semblance of living. The basics have been covered. So if you're you now want to, okay, I want to go the extra mile, and you will see those ones that are going the extra mile doing the really extra to get to that point. But those who want to have their normal lives, and which is okay, all of us have our different dreams and aspirations, and maybe if we're in such a climb, safe, we may not even be, those of us who feel we are hustling now because we want a different life, may not even be hustling as we're hustling when everything is already easier for you to access. So we have the basics. There's good road network. There's, in fact, you won't even need to want to own certain cars because you see them as liabilities.
Yes.
You know how much people used to buy fuel in your cars? We people, including me, to buy fuel. Imagine we have a very good transport system where I can just come outside my house, enter the train to the office and go back. Who wants to come and be riding car to show somebody? We're not. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So the government has to do a lot to stabilize the economy, stabilize the system in such a way that many things will no longer begin to entice people. And it's a given because when you have food, you have water, you have good education, your child is sick, you are not panicking and thinking, where do I get money to buy malaria medicine? You can walk into the hospital, there's healthcare for you. What you are chasing in life begins to reduce. It's not because you are no longer a human being with values or with a goal, but now you now start facing the important things. And that's why we see people who decide to say, I want to study that ant. I want to know the makeup of this ant. And you stay in your backyard, in your garage, studying ants for years. You are studying ants because there's food in your fridge when you're hungry. You cannot be hungry and your children are dying and it's ants you want to study. You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So government has to do a lot before they can now, in fact, they don't even need to tell Nigerians to start preaching dignity of labor and all of that. When they sort out certain things, everything will begin to align. And I think that's where many of the focus should be. Where we're having a conversation of, okay, Let's try and minimize it so we don't lead a lot of people astray. We also need to have a backup that stabilizes the people naturally. It may take us many years to get there, but if there's intentionality on the part of government that this is where we are going to, many of our government officials, they travel around, and when they travel, they don't drive their cars. They enter good transport system. They take the buses, they take the train. I've never traveled and driven any car, and I take train, and I don't feel less than anybody. All of us are inside bus, gisting, all of us are inside train, and all of that. And I don't feel this person is better than me. Or in fact, when I go there, I don't use makeup. I don't even dress well because there's no pressure to be. Thank you. So I think that should be where we would focus our conversation, while we're also having a conversation of, okay, let's try and make it.
That's why I said. That's why I said initially that NOA they have what's it called? They have their core. If we face our core, yes, whatever he must have said, I think that a couple of times there was this time some content creators even online did what's the cars that students drive versus the cars that lecturers drive. Yeah. We know that the margin is wide, and like Bisi said, it might not get closed in the next 2-3 decades, but we can only try to advance towards it. Now, for the NOA, maybe he assumed office, I think, sometimes in 2024 last year, and like we visibly know that when we were much younger, the NOA used to take the forefront in advocacy and to champion some of these awareness causes. But at this time that we speak, I think one major thing is that NOA also needs a lot of awareness themselves because this new regime of NOA, we're not seeing it. If I didn't go yesterday to really check to see, okay, what have they been doing recently, I wouldn't have seen that they are even propagating this My Nigeria story. Nigeria happened to me. And they are actually pushing out people who has very good narratives about how Nigeria affected them positively, which is against the usual may Nigeria not happen to you, which is a negative kind of prayer, that may Nigeria and the negative aspect not happen to you. These are the things that I think that they can amplify. And this is what I also feel that the content of that letter should have carried, to point out Sarkin, the dealer, to the fact that, have you noticed that we have even started doing this? And now even tell him to support them, to use one of his skits to amplify these messages. We cannot be talking with both sides of our mouth. Nigerians are the same people that will say, oh, the crown is sitting well today. And by evening, they are the ones say, oh, this crown is tilted, but you just said it sat well in the morning. So it's like,
tilted in the afternoon.
And yesterday when JJ was here, he mentioned that the law is now eye-opened. In a country where we still have selected justice practices, where what is good for the goose is not what is good for the Ghana. We are going to continue to have divide. I be the Ghana, I be the Ghana. What is good for Nigeria is good for Uganda. Good for Uganda. So you understand, if we keep going on this, oh, it's not supposed to be. I also say what he did as trying to castigate and cast aspersions on the guy instead of correcting him in that same unity that you are preaching. Oh, now come. Why don't you come and let's work together? Let us also use your platform to be able to tell Nigerians that if civil servants cannot afford this now, it doesn't mean that civil servants cannot afford this, that, and state all the things that civil servants can afford so that people can be on this table and people can be aware. Since your core is even awareness, bring what is happening in governance, bring it to the forefront, let Nigerians see it. So this divide that we are talking about, it will be a long journey. But we can only positively move towards it and not try and bash somebody for doing maybe whatever business that is theirs.
All right, we have a call on the line. Priscilla, I don't know if she's still there. Are you there, Priscilla? Hello? I don't think she's there.
Yeah. So I want to read a comment from a viewer because people are actually seeing Sarkin Mota in different ways. I have only just heard of him today, but this is someone who says that she's been watching him for a while, and that, to be honest, Sarkin Mota comes across as condescending to majority of Nigeria's workforce. I can't stand him. I think he's a troll. And when he says pay small, he does it in mockery. And, you know, this person says they find it as his behavior to be quite awful. So because I haven't seen it, and we know, let's just be honest, you know, sometimes we see some videos and we can interpret it different ways, depending on where we're from. And sometimes also we can see message behind the message. Sometimes some messages are really meant to be mean. You know, they are mean-spirited, but, you know, they are said in such a way that it seems that is not their agenda. But for me, I still stand
People
by,
catch it.
He is a singular person doing his business however he wants to do his business, and that's his problem. But we're talking about Nigeria, you know, as a whole, and our federal government and what it should be involved in and how we should go about sending a message to Nigerians. I want to go back to where BC came from when she was saying that, you know, if a lot of the things, if our system is working, many Nigerians will not even feel the need to be so materialistic. I beg to differ a bit there. You know, many people have always described maybe America as, you know, first world. Like their system is much more better than at least Nigerians or many countries in Africa. But there's materialism in that country. I mean, I feel like the whole world is learning from them, you know, where it just seems that there are a group of people that come out and show us how much money they have. They put the dollar down and everything. So the reason why I like what NOA is doing, as per talking on materialism, is that it's important to have a culture, you know, mindset. And that mindset is not only about making sure that the system works, but also talking to people, reminding them of what is important. So that is where I see that government can also, yes, definitely make sure that the system is working. Basic amenities and things like that are there. But also we need to talk to Nigerians. Who are Nigerians? How do you want us to see work? How do you want us to see respect for each other? Do we respect people because of how much money that they have? Or because they make contributions to the greater good of Nigeria and Nigerians? And I must say that we, at this time, right now, and it's not just a Nigerian problem, I think it's a global problem, where the love for money has taken over, that people that deserve respect for their sacrifices, for their good work are not getting it because they don't have a lot of money to show for it. And I would like to come from a community or a country or be part of a culture that gives respect where respect is due. And for me, respect is due to the person that just does good work. You know, real work, honest work. It does not matter if that thing brings that person 10 naira or 10 million, but the person contributes positively to their families, to their community, to their country. And I think like teachers, they do so much, but they don't get the sort of respect that one random person who we don't know where they are making their monies from is throwing monies in our faces. They seem to get more respect than people that we know are working hard. So yes, the messaging is important. Tell people and remind people where, you know, what is important, and, you know, that's it. So
some people are, you know, saying that probably they misunderstood what I meant by having, you know, the best standard of living generally, where you don't tell the difference between the poor and the rich. I didn't say there are no poor. They are, of course. You see beggars on the streets. They still have homeless people there. But we're looking at the ratio now between what they have, and what we have. Is something that we can also still work towards, so that, do you know the millions of people, if you check your data, that are living below poverty level? It's a lot. Yes, it's a lot. So we can deliberately begin to work towards that, where at least the majority of the people, of course, even Jesus said it in the Bible, the poor will always be amongst you. But can we reduce the number of the poor? Let's reduce a bit more by just putting systems in place that takes care of the majority of the people. All over the world, they have their issues. They have poor people, they have homeless people, they have people on the streets. First time I entered New York, my eye opened. They were following us up and down. Hey, bro, can I get some? Can I get some?
When you go downtown.
Can I get some? They were begging up and down. We saw them with their phones.
But you know, someone may argue and say that is poverty by choice or bad choices.
Yes, that's also a
poverty
part of it.
here where it's not.
You did not
choose. I did not choose.
Thank you.
Because there you can actually walk and earn
if you want to, the full-bodied man that will say, hey, bro, can I have some? Can I have some? There was nothing wrong with him. He could speak English. He could walk into a place and do a job. I saw girls who were standing and holding flyers and sharing. They stand all day. I spoke to one of them, said that's what she does. She's in school, and this is her, like her part-time job. She does this, then she goes back to school. She's using this to get some money to sort out some other things. So you can, there are poor people all over the world, but it's the ratio. And the fact that we have some resources that God has naturally given to us, we should be living like people in Qatar, and Dubai.
Yes.
There's nothing, there's no difference between them and us. Yes, it's about being deliberate. There's no difference between them and us. Do you see those people traveling to other people's countries, come and do nonsense work? They don't do that. They love their country. They stay there. Every family has something that they are receiving from government every month. We can work towards that. We can work towards doing it in such a way that if a Nigerian chooses to travel tomorrow, it's because he wants to go and give value to a place where they don't have that kind of value. He's going with something special. And he will go with his royalty and his pride. I'm a Nigerian. I'm here to help you people. Not I'm here to beg you people to accept me. That's the point. So I like where Miriam has come from. We must pass the message. Because I know growing up, we still envied or admired hard work. We saw aunties who were going to school, who were aspiring to be doctors, teachers. I wanted to be a teacher. I didn't teach because I did not see a job. I got a job in the bank when I finished NYSC. I chose to teach because I wanted to raise my children close to me while Oga was doing the banking. I chose, and I enjoyed that 5 years of being in the classroom and being with children. My choice. Right now, when I hear people, I don't hear young people aspire. I've never since I've been
because of the way they are creative. Yes,
and that is why I'm saying
that for some professions
lucrative.
Some professions have been disrespected.
When I chose to teach, it wasn't lucrative. How much was my salary?
It's better now, some jobs but it's not as better as. Let's look at it in this perspective. It's not as better as. We know that in maybe let's say in 10 years, let's put it in context. In the last 10 years. We have seen different civil servants under corruption cases and corruption practices. And the NOA hadn't come out to teach Nigerians or to help Nigerians appreciate better why there should not be corruption. Because even those who were corrupted, how many of them were indicted and sentenced? You understand? So it feels like a free and fair. That's why teaching will not be lucrative to anybody. Because at what point do you want to become a teacher to be able to siphon or steal $1 billion naira?
Okay, so Dami, let me tell you something. There are some jobs that have been a bit, I don't want to use the word disrespected, but they look down on some jobs in Nigeria. For example, teachers, police, so many of these jobs.
They don't get because
and the reason is because they don't pay them well.
That gets because they don't pay them well. They should earn. That's why people don't want to go there again. Even now, you find out that people are fighting to enter civil service because they even tell you. I heard somebody say one day that civil service is not about the salary. It's about the emoluments and the things that go on. Then the person now added that God bless you that they put you in a ministry that is flourishing, that you know you can cut corners. And this is just the order of the day staring at us. So how then do I tell the 21-year-old, the 19-year-old to face hard work and face respect? Because those who have worked hard for this country are not even dignified. Respectfully, we look at them and we see them that, oh, you wasted 35 years. See, pensioners are dying daily. And here we are still talking about arguing about a car that is. So we're going in circles. If we really want to get out of this circle, I think by now NOA should try and sponsor a film. They should do a film because films are another way to send messages. Yes,
they should advertise as much as possible.
But the awareness, according to the interview I even saw from the NOA, from the DG, the awareness level is still low. They are claiming they want to work more digitalized, but on social media, their presence is not even heavy. Then it was advocacy back-to-back, drug abuse, family planning, and all of that. Then I also think that NOA can charge, maybe radio stations and TV stations can have some kind of a rebate. That they can have a CSR, compulsorily, every day. Don't do drugs shouting. Shouting it. Let these youths be hearing. So that by the time we are talking about it, they know that from the top, we are all in synchrony.
So we have to wrap this up. 2 seconds.
Okay, so for
2 seconds.
So for me now, at least now I even know, because I've not even known about the NOA a long time ago. I'm just even knowing about them because of him. So you can imagine. So that means they need to do more. They need to do more, and I like the fact that they brought him. You know, they told him to bring it down. He has brought down all the videos that he mentioned civil servant. And I saw new adverts that he brought up. He didn't mention anything about civil servant. So that means I like the fact that he listened and he agreed.
He's a Nigerian, he's a good citizen of the country.
So it's the way forward.
Final thoughts on this?
Yes, let's just do better. You know, in our messaging, as yes, we understand that we are individuals and we are adults and we can do anything, but choose if you're given a choice. Remember, be on on the side of decency.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
Where you're preaching good. We also need to still encourage people to work hard, live by the examples, encourage people to work hard, and don't be condescending to other people who you feel you are better than, because that's what I see many times. And even when you're selling luxury, focus on your markets. You don't go out there and then start comparing the people that can afford it and people that cannot afford it.
Do you know, that's how I can tell fake luxury.
Yes.
When you're so concerned about those that
cannot afford it.
Even you shouldn't be there.
You shouldn't be selling. So focus on what's the market that you are saying, and let's see how the government, the NOA would do better. We need to hear their voices better. It's about orientation. Orientation means talking, speaking, advocacy. They need to be on ground talking about topical issues, drugs. We have issue of drugs. We have issue of cultism. We have issue of kidnapping. Now it's organ harvesting.
Now,
those are the issues that we need to keep highlighting,
issues.
telling our young people this is not the way to go. This is what the government is. When you are,
block our ears with it.
As you are walking on the streets in the market, you should be hearing jingles, whether in Pidgin or in Yoruba or in Hausa. People are talking about it. That is where we want them to play in, and then we can, just see how we go with all the policies that the government has put in place and see where it takes us in the next few years. Thank you so much, ladies, for your wonderful contributions. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll move on to yet another segment. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.